I'll get in trouble. I'll get in trouble. All right. Hope everybody's doing good. Everybody doing good? Yeah, good. All right, we can all communicate. Good afternoon. I know y'all probably have some questions about Cale's resignation, and just want to say up front, all that needs to be said has been said. So out of respect for our players and our staff that have been working the last 8.5 months for fall camp and getting ready for the 2022 season, we're going to keep it to those questions. So.
If you have a question, raise your hand. I'm going to get to you. Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Brent. So got to ask you about that, but in a way about the effect on this season. How do you handle things with that receiver group specifically, and what's your timeline as far as getting a permanent replacement there, and your feelings on Damien Washington?
Yeah, well, it's a great question, and I'll be honest. This issue aside, Oklahoma program with Cale Gundy is stronger than one without him, and but I couldn't be more excited about the Damien Washington and the opportunity that he has with these guys this season. He's already had incredible relationships built with these guys, and trust, a really deep understanding of who they are as young men, certainly their skill sets and their strengths and weaknesses, things like that. He's incredibly bright and smart, articulate, but he is he's got deep trust with these guys. And when I announced to the team that on an interim basis, however long that is, that he would be stepping in to help us out there, be the receivers coach, the players were excited for him and this opportunity. As you know, he's got this amazing story, a very inspiring story, and how he got here. So I'm really excited to see. I think he'll really blossom right here in this role. And when I got hired at K-State full-time, Bill Snyder hired me as an interim coach. And boy, I couldn't be happier for that opportunity. I was getting paid $33,000 plus some change, and I was like just head over heels excited. And I never looked over my shoulder once, and that's my expectation of Coach Washington. And he'll do an amazing job. And so how we address it moving forward, it'll be just something we'll continue to evaluate. And staff will step up and, help out in any way that, we have to. And, but I'm really excited about his energy and his passion for the game, passion for young people. Played position, so he's excellent teacher of the game. Really advanced from that standpoint. And so we'll see how that all goes.
But you anticipate him being the coach for this season?
Yeah, from a timing standpoint, this is a very unique situation. It's not a good time for any coach to be, shopping themselves around. This will be a position that's highly sought after, and I've had plenty of people reach out, but I just want to make sure that we whatever we do, it's what's best for the players. And so right now I know that Coach Washington, will fill that role in a great way.
Come on this side, Jesse Crittenden.
Hey, Brent. Just want to ask a little bit more about him. How much are you able to kind of incorporate him into what you guys were already doing in fall camp? Is it easy just to kind of slide him into that role? Are there changes you have to make? Just what's it been from that perspective?
Yeah, just I think now he's running the room. So he's been shadowing in that respect since he got here, and so he's been the assistant that can't coach, that can't watch film, but he's been paying attention for 8 months, and he's done it before, so it's not his first rodeo. And then he played the game for a very long time, so part of it will be kind of like riding a bike, and certainly he's learned a new system and things of that nature, but he didn't just learn it in the last couple of days. He's got a great grasp on it right now, and so I don't know. He's just going to have to be the man in charge. But he's done a great job. Like he's very comfortable in that role. Just got a real knack and very natural from a leadership standpoint. Got a lot of toughness to him. He's got a bright light inside of him. He's full of life, but he's very convicted about who he is as a coach and the relationships that he's built, which I think is critical. If this is some guy that was coaching defensive backs, was one of our assistants over here at DBs, and I moved him over to receiver, it'd be a whole other conversation from a transition standpoint. So I think he'll do a great job. I think he'll plug right in.
Second row on the right to the front.
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted to dig in a little bit about the timing aspect of everything, not specifically about him, but about the timing aspect of things, and then also the culture building aspect of things. I mean, you haven't had a chance to coach a game. You've been focused on building culture, and now this happens. How difficult is this from a culture building standpoint and from a timing perspective?
Yeah, from a timing standpoint, that's certainly not ideal. So it's my job, our job as leaders, to help our young people focus and refocus. And so I've always felt that's a very easy thing for me. And but jumping right in, we're in the middle of fall camp, and you have to deal with this. And I think we've hit it head on with our guys, open, honest, transparent, connected the whole time. And I think that we're in not a good place. I think we're in a great place, all things considered. And I wouldn't step up here and act that way if it wasn't that way. And but you know it when you see it, and you know it when you don't. And we just finished practice number 5 today, and man, we've had 3 great days. Y'all were witness to it, whatever that means. Y'all were out there, judge it for yourself. But that's kind of our sanctuary, meeting room, practice field, locker room. That's when we can kind of get away from everybody and just have that time you need as you continue in this stage of the year, building your program, armoring up, if you will, for the season. So we talked about Murphy's Law one time, didn't we? Yeah? Yep, everybody talked about it. So here it is. This won't be the last time there's a crisis and issues you got to deal with head on. And when nobody asked for this issue to happen, but how we respond ultimately, as we know, will determine how we're defined. So from a cultural standpoint, just continue to, that helped me, as a filter, make decisions. What's best for our guys, both short term and long term. Sometimes what's best for them, they don't like. I said that before as well, and that's called wisdom and judgment. And so, how we got to this point aligns with the vision of the program, and as difficult and challenging and hurtful as all of it's been. And again, timing's never right for anything. With coaching change or issues that you're dealing with, the timing is never great. Situation like this, but I really believe this somehow, some way, strong believer that this will. We had a 3-hour meeting on Saturday afternoon. That my feeling that it was amazing, and really got really transparent and just vulnerable, and it was terrific. And one that sometimes through adversity it causes those moments where you got to take a pause and you got to have that, and to continue to move forward as a program. And so trying to find the good in a dark place, in a dark moment. And I've seen a lot of encouraging signs from our guys, maturity, the love that they have for one another. And I believe this, when we got here in December, that we were somewhat fragmented, whether that was a coaching change or even prior to that, to some degree. And that's only from input from the players. And you had an offense and a defense, and we've worked intentionally to try to build a team and a family and a program, and a lot of hard work and a lot of intentionality has gone into that. And so I believe in my heart of hearts that this somehow, some way will continue to unify this group of guys. That's what I've seen in the meeting room and on the practice field. These guys haven't flinched.
First row about Brisbane.
Yeah, Brent, going back to Coach Washington, where was the connection from? How did you know about him? Because you're pretty quick to hire him as an analyst.
Yeah, so I don't know everybody when you hire whatever it is, 70 support staff members, but you trust people. And so Coach Finley had worked with him at Missouri, and Coach Levy had known him as well and then Coach Cooper as well. So then I got a chance to visit with him. The first 5 minutes that you visit with him, you're going, whoa, that guy's a real deal. Just full of life, got an amazing testimony. He's very real, he's very honest, high energy, sharp, articulate, and easy with the players. Very easy, but he's honest with them. Not the buddy, he's honest with them. So he's just got a lot of natural skill and ability. And then I checked with some testimonials from some other people that he worked for, and whether that was Coach Pinkel or Coach Drinkwitz, and people can't say enough good things about him. He's got this track record of people saying great things about him wherever he's been.
Okay, standing in the front row, July Letterman.
Brent, in the statement you released on Monday, you mentioned your role here having to protect these players. For both the player who was involved in the incident and just the group on the whole, what kind of work have you guys had to do this week with them to get things back on track and make sure?
And just continue to be exactly who we've been. Just to continue to be exactly who we've been. To be open, honest, connected, relational. Just be real. Just exactly how we've been. Just I'm out in front of everything and meet things head on, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's hard. Just continue to do that, which from the very first time I met the team, that's exactly how we've been. So no different. You don't have to change up on them now and be somebody that you haven't been. Just continue to be exactly who you've been as a program, what our beliefs are, what our values are, who we are foundationally. It's really rather simple when your compass are your values and again, what's best for the players. And again, thinking both short-term and long-term, trying to build a program that, again, has sustainability. It's a very difficult profession, more now than ever, with the ability to, whether it's the transfer portal, no restrictions for the players, NIL, all these different opportunities where it can really create a very unsettling environment for young people. We're trying to be, we want to be a program that is safe, a program that is got stability, a program that's got consistency, that the players can rely on. We all need that structure in an environment that's going to be encouraging, that's going to be connected, an environment that's going to bring out the best in you. It's a healthy environment and not a perfect environment. There ain't any perfect environment anywhere. But we've worked really hard to create an environment where these guys, again, do feel like it's a home and it's a family. And
This side, Terry Trammell, second row.
Yeah, Brent, you could have been a head coach a long time ago. Any time in the last 6 days that you thought, well, this is what the big deal's about, having to make decisions and deal with situations like this?
yeah, sure, yep, 100%. And certainly I could find different moments in all three places that I've been that have been some controversy or some adversity, not talking about on the field, losing the game. I'm talking about life. And so I've been able to watch, some amazing men respond, and so you learn from all of that. And but you certainly, this is one of those, without question. And so, but one I feel very comfortable and prepared for. Is it fun? Absolutely not. But do you got to be strong, be at your best in these moments? No question about it. And so, again, as I told the team, I'll stand firm, I'll stand in the gap for them. This is what it's about. And if I don't, I promise you they won't. And so they're going to follow, my lead from that standpoint. So, again, like I said earlier, this won't be the last time that you have to make some incredibly tough decisions. And as you continue to try to build and grow the program and move it forward, you're going to have to be strong and make some tough decisions in some tough moments.
James Hale in front.
You know, Brent, this was at the start of training camp, so you have a group of receivers. You got some newcomers, you got some guys. Now you've had to watch them for 5 days in a very, tough situation for them. What's been your thought on that group and the leadership that stepped up there and how they've handled this situation?
That's a great question. That's one of our strongest position groups on the team. We've got tremendous leadership there, maturity between Marvin and Drake and Theo. Jalil I know he's a young player still, but he's really grown up. I think some of that was he had a late season success there against Oregon, and it's really had an amazing out of season. And then some of our freshmen have really stepped up. JG, Nick Anderson, JJ, those guys in particular, LV, those guys have all really added a tremendous amount of both playmaking and for young players, maturity to a group. But they're taking on the leadership of that group has really taken them to a great place. And, through 5 practices, they've made a lot of really good, strong, competitive plays. And so young kid Freeman, again, he's been doing exactly what he did all summer as well. So it's going to be a good group for us this year.
Stay in front of Myron back.
You coached under some big-time coaches, Bob Stoops here, Dabo Swinney at Clemson. When you saw everything up close and personal, you said, you knew you'd have to make decisions like this. How has that kind of helped you formulate how you handle this situation? What did you learn? And is it different that now you're in the seat, I guess, to make that call?
I mean, different, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really thought about it that way. It goes with it. There's not any head coach in college football that hadn't gone through many of these kind of decisions. You make 100 of them a day, but this size, this will be one of many, I'm sure. So again, I've learned through how thoughtful and thorough and use your counsel. You surround yourself with people with wisdom, but ultimately, you got to figure out what's best for your program, your players. Again, have a long-term vision, as well. And so it's not like let me see, does this match up with who we are? We've tried to be incredibly consistent from the moment, we took over the first week of December with who we are. Again, I've been talking about foundation of the program nonstop. And so that's going to continue to keep the main thing in that regard. And so I think through all that, you equip yourself and prepare yourself for these decisions, as tough as they may be.
Front left, Brandon Drum.
Yeah, Brent, there's a guy like Matt Wells. He's had a lot of receiver experience. Obviously been a head coach as well. Is that somebody that you'll have LD Washington kind of lean on during this time?
Yeah, Matt'll he'll kind of be his assistant in that way, and Nick Basquin is here in the program also in an off-the-field role, and so he'll do a great job as well to help guide and lead. And then just like I do, we meet as a back seven every single day, every day, and we install and we go through because I want them to understand fundamentally, scheme, philosophy. I want them to be a cohesion back there. So, because on game day, they got to be like this. And so, in that regard, there's plenty of times where the receivers and the quarterbacks, receivers and tight ends and quarterbacks are all meeting together to stay on the same page, and whether they're installing or, showing them how the scheme works together. So, that'll continue to take place, at that position as well. But Matt'll help in all the ways that he's allowed to.
Time for 2 more. We'll go John Hoover, far right.
Yeah, Brent, want to ask you a philosophical question. You can be as detailed or as general as you want in your answer. how do you balance now as the CEO of this program? How do you balance the tenets of forgiveness and second chances with the need to take care of the program, be the CEO, and make hard decisions?
I think that's a pretty complicated, complex question, and you do some on instinct. You can make a lot of decisions based on, what your values are. Your values, things that, again, are part of your foundation. And if it's opposite of those values, then you make decisions that way. And then forgiveness, again, I think, grace is a good thing, And there's some things that deserve it more than others. And so that's everybody's different in how they view things. I grew up in a home of domestic abuse. All right, so does the abuser multiple times as an abuser in a domestic relationship deserve grace? When I grew up that way, I don't think so. And so there's people handle things like that differently. So as I said already, I think short term and long term, this is as hard as it gets. This has been incredibly difficult. So, but here we are in fall camp in 2022, our first season, and our coaches and players and our staff have worked incredibly hard, relentlessly, and trying to build for this season and beyond. And so I couldn't be more excited about what's in front of us. Hopefully y'all are too. You're not going to get a chance to talk to me, so you got some good questions about the work that these guys have been putting in, what's been taking place, on that practice field. You got a small window, so you guys want some content, come on. Nobody came prepared for that?
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, Coach. So Justin Harrington is obviously a guy that you and the coaching staff gave a second chance back in April when he rejoined the program. How have you seen him steward that opportunity, and what are your thoughts on him a week into fall camp?
Yeah, I love his versatility. He's big, he's long, he's athletic, got good instincts. He's sudden, explosive, he's rangy, he can play man. Again, can play zone. Just football's easy for him. He's got a big, strong, live body. And so we're going to look at, we've worked him at multiple positions, and not everybody can do that and still play at a pretty high level. And so we're trying to develop depth and diversity within the scheme. And he's one of those players that we feel like is going to be able to give us some position flexibility.
Last row chairs, Kerry Murdoch.
Hey, Brent, you get to the point now with pads on that maybe you're seeing a little bit of what Schmitty did with these guys during the offseason. Does it show on the field?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and we've gotten stronger and faster, and just, we're starting to look around, you're like, okay, we kind of looked the part. And that's maybe not surprising, but for me, I'm always looking at everything. And so, yeah, we got a good look to us. Physically, guys have transformed through, both our spring and our summer program. So that's been very encouraging. Guys feel confident because of the work they've put in. That's kind of where you get your swag and your edge, is by the work you put in, not because of people talking about you. And our guys have a genuine edge to them right now. They're hungry. I love the engagement of this group of players. Like, they're engaged as opposed to just going to practice, because it's easy just to go to practice. And our guys have been engaged. They've been very purposeful, one day at a time, showing up, with goals and a focus about them that give you a chance to have daily improvement. And so that's been a lot of fun to watch that happen, for them to respect what it takes. You got to respect what it takes, because what we're asking them to do is really, really hard. It's really hard. And I've finished with them on the practice field today. I'm sorry. There's no other way for us to make this easier. Like, these next 10 days should be the hardest 10 days of the whole season. Nothing compares to it. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, it's going to be tough. And we should like it. We should embrace it, because that's when you know you've put in the work and the things that it takes, so you have a chance to have the kind of season that you want to have. You don't just luck up and have a good season. And this is grinded up time right here. And so between competition and development, and again trying to continue to look at both schemes and guys that can play multiple positions and find out what we can do best going into this season. Man, this is an incredibly exciting time of the year, and really trying to create that mindset, that buy-in to our guys. You know, physicality's got to be in an all-time high, as good as it's ever been on a practice field in Norman. That's what it's going to take. But, you know, to have a true, deep-seated championship strain to them with everything. So that's sleep, that's eat, that's recovery, that's film, that's meeting, that's practice field, how you respond in very intense emotional moments, multiple of those a day. You know, the camaraderie, the cohesion, the chemistry, all those things that it takes. But it all starts with having a championship mindset. And, you know, and so really just trying to get our guys to be habitual in all of those things and very routine and structure oriented. And then they have to embrace that, because it's easy to just kind of coaches and support staff and players just to start going through the motions. And it's just another practice. It ain't just another practice. It's the most important practice of the year, right here, right now. And getting the guys to sit and be on the edge of their feet, again, on the balls of their feet, 10 toes in the ground, and really literally buy into that. Because that's what it takes to be a championship program, to be one of those teams, okay? And not be a top 15 team, to be one of those teams each and every year. And then you recruit to that, okay? And next thing you know, the players, it literally is player-driven. And so that's what we're trying to build. And the first 5 days, incredibly encouraging. And we're getting ready to go down to the rugby fields, and I can't wait. It's hotter down there. You're not as insulated down there. The ground's hard. When you fall, it feels different. The smell of the grass is different. It's hard to get there. It's hard to get back. Nothing's easy. Nothing's convenient. We'll go down there and grind it up, and really see what we're about, and test our mettle, see if we can continue to strain and do it one day at a time. And so they can't get there on their own. You know, that's our responsibility. They got to buy into it. They got to meet us. They got to be engaged. And that doesn't just happen. And if it did just happen, if it was just that easy, then how come everybody else isn't having that kind of success, consistently and for the long term? It takes something different. And we've got a great formula for that. And we've got a lot of coaches that coach at a really high level, have had incredible success. And so getting our guys to really deeply understand it and respect it, and then go execute it is what it's about. So that's been fun. I love that. I love getting the best out of somebody. I love seeing guys play beyond their ability. I love guys to love what they do, really love it, be intense about it, be passionate about it, be competitive, like it matters to win this next play, to do well this next play, and that's bag drill, if that's walk through, whatever that is. And so that's literally what all of us as a staff, what we're trying to develop, and the players have bought into it for 8 months. There's been a maturation within that culture. Okay, that's part of the culture too. Okay, that's part of the culture. All right, so if you stayed out there for the whole practice, you hear every day, and you had something to compare apples to apples to, we'd be on the right side of it right now. I promise you, we'd be on the right side of it. What else?
How's your defensive line doing? James Redmond in particular,
He's had an excellent summer, his best summer, according to people that know. He's at the best version of himself right now, and he got banged up, a little slight concussion a couple days ago, but he'll be fine. Maybe yesterday, and so we try to kind of protect him a little bit today. but he's been doing well. He's progressed. He's improved. His mindset is where it needs to be. It's much improved. He'll be the first one to tell you that, just had a lot of growing up to do, and maturing, and love for the game, and love for the grind. Can't just play the game. You got to do the grinding too. That's required. That's part of that, formula. And so he's really bought in. Again, had a monster summer. So when he's been out there these first few days, he's been really tough and active and disruptive. Defensive line, like where we're at, and we're still not. We got a long way to go. Pad level, eyes and hands and feet. There's a lot we're still working on, but we're better than what we were when we entered in the spring. And so I love the improvement that we've made across the board. It's been it's been more than incremental. And but again, we got a bunch of guys that haven't played a whole lot yet, and we just got to continue to improve again, foundationally, fundamentally, toughness, physicality. But we're on our way that way. It's been good first few days.
That's all we have time for today. Thank you, Coach.
All right, appreciate it. All right, y'all have a good one.